Hey guys, so I wanted to tell you guys how to switch out your old thermostat with a Nest thermostat. First off, make sure that your home is compatible with Nest. You can take that quiz online on Nest's website. Secondly, I turned off the breaker downstairs to the entire house just because I'm doing some other electrical work today. Next, in their guide, they actually give you stickers to put on the wire that's corresponding with the letter that it's by. So if you see those letters there, the letters are actually located on the top there. It's kind of hard to see with the light. You see the O there. So I stick on the letters, and I also took pictures of what the original thermostat looks like, mostly because if we ever move, we definitely want to take our Nest with us and put the old thermostat back most likely. So once you do that, you can begin unscrewing. I already unscrewed the side ones here, but you should definitely start with these first because you need to remove the wire from the little screw. So I'm going to finish unscrewing those and untagging the wires, and then I'm going to wrap those wires and put a clip on them just so they don't fall back into the hole. And then I'll show you guys how to put the new thermostat on. So I've got all the bottoms of the wires unscrewed from where they were pinned to. And now I'm just going to actually slide this out. As you can see, it's attached to the wall back here. Slide this out carefully. So there you guys go. I slid out the ones, and now I'm just going to they're pretty stuck out here, so I'm not going to necessarily need a clip. And then you can see that we definitely painted, and I don't feel like painting, so luckily we have this thing. So now I'm going to put the new wires in, and they actually have this little diagram for you guys in here. I'm also going to save this stuff though. Like I said, I might use this later. You'll see this is actually a smaller cord that was connecting W2 and E, which the Nest doesn't use these smaller cords, so I don't need to put that one back in there. It does say in the instructions here about, let's see here. If you're using, oh, here's the little stickers that they give you and show you how to tag. But if you're using a thermostat that has RH and RC connectors, like that tiny little connector area, the Thermostat E will not be compatible, but the 3rd generation Nest is. So just something to keep in mind for you guys. So the first thing I'm going to do to get the new Nest thermostat on is I'm going to slide these wires through that middle hole there. So they'll be positioned right around there, and I'm going to kind of bend them so that this area will also be covered with this plate. So now that I have the wires and the plate fitting in well, I'm going to take a pair of pliers and see how all these are bent here. I'm actually going to make them straight like I just did with this one here. Now that the wires are all straight at the end, I slid on the Nest area here. And I'm going to connect them to all the wires. You'll notice this is the top part that we slide in afterwards. So I put all the wires through that, and then I'm going to be holding down this button here when I put in that Y1 wire. Here we have all the wires now matched up with the corresponding letter. The only one that I didn't have was a W1. I had a W2. So I just put it in W1, and we'll see what happens. As you notice, when we pushed this down and put the wire in, it actually stayed down. And that kind of shows that the wire is definitely in there. I said also in the instructions to give them a tug just to make sure that they're really good in there, and then push all the wires flush against it. So, which actually was probably the hardest part, was to push all these wires in because they wouldn't go back in the wall. So we'll see if that's flush enough to keep them there. So now I'm just going to put in new holes into the wall here and here, which originally the holes were over here. So I have to drill new holes for this. Okay guys, so I've made sure that the little balancer in there, that the bubble is right in the middle. And since my wires were pushing the plate in the thermostat over to the right, that's why I put this more towards the left to make sure that it doesn't slide, since it does have a little room in there. To make those new holes, I'm using this thing. And first for the holes, I did a little puncture. This is slightly smaller than the screws that I have. And that also allowed me to make sure I knew where to put the holes. Now, you can do this, it's probably smarter too, do this before you put the thermostat on. If you put the plate on, and then this thing kind of in front so that you can kind of guesstimate where these screws would need to be, and then mark it with a pencil, screw them with the pre-screw thing. No, I do not know the technical jargon for this, but honestly, do you really care if I do? As long as it gets done, right? So, and that way you can see where the holes were and make this process a little bit easier. So now I'm gonna finish screwing that thing in. Not while I'm videotaping, because I only have 2 hands today. And then I'll show you guys the final piece. Ta-da! The Nest Thermostat is installed and working. So all I had to do was push in the top part of the cover, and then it asked me a series of setup questions to connect to the internet, different things like that. Don't forget to also set up your Nest app. Trust me, you need the Nest app to help you control it remotely, which it's been lovely. I actually never did this last video showing the final piece for a year. So we've now had the Nest Thermostat for quite some time, and has it lowered our electric bill just slightly. And I'm not sure if that's because we've just been more conscious of it with this, or if it like is the auto learn. I find myself adjusting it quite a bit because I'm not really on a schedule, so therefore I'm kind of all over the place. But usually our electric bill is in the hundreds, or I should say in 100, so like 120 or something like that. And with this, it's been 70 to 100, so a little bit lower when it was usually the minimum was always 100. So to turn it, you can just turn it like on the side here. You can see when I turn it to 73, 74 has that green leaf showing that that's eco. The 70 on the top there shows you what the actual temperature is. If you click it, you can scroll over to all the different options. If you want to go to eco, you can click eco, start eco. And then it shows you what the temperature is in white, what my low range is, and what my high range is for eco, which you can preset or you can let it auto set. I would show you the app, but I'm actually recording with my phone, so you're going to explore the app on your own. Would I get it again? Yes, actually. It's been really nice to be able to change the temperature remotely, especially since we just got a dog. And so he's home, and I want to make sure the temperature is okay for him. And we actually got 2 other Nest products, which we will review in a future video. One of them actually is what I would say is the #1 must-get item from the Nest, but you'll have to watch my next video to know what that is.